Have you ever experienced a day where everything seems to go wrong? You've spilled your coffee, encountered an unforeseen puddle, experienced an endless traffic jam, and now you've realized that you've arrived at work wearing your comfortable slippers rather than appropriate shoes? This sounds like the stuff from nightmares, but fear not. We have something that might just make your otherwise terrible day a little happier. Prepare to laugh at these people's misfortunes and find comfort in the knowledge that you're not alone in your moments of extreme bad luck. Don't worry, I've got your back and I'm here to provide you with a much needed dose of humor. Here are 10 people who are having a bad day. Number 10. This is a video of a person who appears to be having a bad day, so you do need to ask the very legitimate question, why is she wearing a mask on the beach in the first place? Some people may just be incredibly stupid. After all, the young woman appears to take off her face mask to reveal the perfect outline of it left behind as her face tans from the sun. This is not exactly the kind of thing that calls for a master's degree in engineering or even a lot of planning. But here we are, watching idiots act foolishly online once more. You know what we're here for, and you're very welcome. In any case, someone kind has taken the time to offer some advice to aid anyone else who could find themselves in a similar situation. They advise that the best course of action to avoid getting lines in the first place is to apply a high-quality sunscreen all over your face. But if that doesn't work or you're a complete moron, they say that exfoliating your tanned areas more will speed up the fading process, or that you can use bronzer to cover up the areas that are morbidly tanned. Honestly, though, a visible indicator like this helps everyone in society identify who the dumbest people are. Number 9. You know how it goes. You get a group of people to watch you do something, and then you screw it up, and then you send that footage to the evening news? If this is standard stuff, then we're all completely shameless here, and we need an audience for literally everything we do. Otherwise, what evidence is there that anything ever happens at all? Here we have this guy who was standing on the end of a boat about to propose to his girlfriend when he reached for that crucial box that contained the ring. Well, things went a little wrong. The box fell out of his pocket and into the sea behind him. That's life for you, and so he dove right in after it and seemed to have saved the object before it was sucked up by the waves. But don't worry, everything turned out okay in the end, and you can all feel tremendous relief to hear that. Number 8. Who knew bears could be so cunning? The American black bear is far less fearsome than the terrifying old grizzly bear. Bears like this one are usually eager to get away from humans when at all possible, and often only head into areas where people are because they're looking for food, so you might want to reconsider that Snickers bar in your pocket before you head off into the woods. These black bears are pretty clever if they figured out how to get into cars. Maybe there was a big pile of snacks in this woman's car. For a bear intelligent enough to unlock a car door, the woman's response was definitely a tad out of control. It's difficult to determine who is more shocked, the woman or the bear. However, with all of the screams, the bear decided it was too uncomfortable to stay any longer and scrambled out in search of a quieter place to feast. Number 7. The disturbing part about this following clip of video is that it demonstrates how rapidly things may happen and that you might not even see it coming. This video features a man named Nathan Reeves talking to a man named Alexi Reyes for his YouTube channel in Houston, Texas. At first, everything seems normal and boring, but we can see it happening in the background before they even realize what's happening. It's a terrifying moment when a car suddenly loses control and starts speeding towards the cafe where the two men are sitting and talking to the camera. The car crashes into the window behind them, shattering all of the glass before the pane literally falls out. Luckily, neither of them suffered any serious injuries, though they did receive some minor ones. Still, given the speed at which the car struck the glass and the fact that it appeared to have struck at least one of the guys, they were fortunate to escape relatively unscathed. This truly gets you thinking about how quickly life can change. Number 6. This is the horrifying video of Australian base jumper Rory Allen, who ended up in a bit of a pickle. He had actually leaped off a cliff, which is not something that is really advised to do. When he opened his parachute, it pulled him into a rocky outcrop. Things then got worse as he tried to avoid the danger and ended up getting stuck in a tree. He stayed there for more than 2 hours dangling from that tree until some kind people came to his rescue. He took some nice footage of his terrifying situation and shared it on TikTok, so here they are for your lucky eyes. He was extremely fortunate to escape with no serious injuries, and would you look at the fact that he is now somewhat famous on the internet. Of course, this is the modern era, where nothing this exciting and worthy of a viral video happens without being live streamed. Number 5. This footage shows an industrious BBC News reporter demonstrating just how narrow the spaces the robbers drilled to access the safe really were. He shows a block of concrete that had been drilled in the same way with 3 holes that each measured just 9.84 inches in diameter. It was through this combined shape that the 2 men who committed the Hatton Garden robbery squeezed themselves. The underground safe facility in London's Hat and Garden was broken into in April of 2015. The thieves had stolen something in the region of £14 million worth of goods and had used a unique method to gain entry to the vault. So, in the spirit of journalism, Daniel Sanford puts on a boiler suit and tries to squeeze through the hole, which is challenging at first. Everything seems to be going about as well as you might expect, but even though he had started off with a certain air of confidence, things seem to start going a bit wrong for poor old Daniel, who finds that he's actually wedged in place and probably won't be moving on his own. At this point, the reporter states that he really needs someone to push him from behind. It's all quite humorous in the end, but always professional. You can hear the folks behind the camera laughing quietly at his situation. Daniel doesn't even seem to smile about it. Maybe he's just claustrophobic. Number 4. The scary confrontation between a man in a very flimsy-looking kayak and a huge, deadly shark is our next clip. Ben Chansey, a U.S. Coast Guard captain for fishing charters, was on a fishing expedition in 2015 off the coast of Stuart, Florida, targeting Goliath groupers. As he tried to catch one, his kayak was surrounded by several bull sharks, which made for a tense situation. He had a rod and reel with a 15-pound bait in it, which he dropped into the water in the hopes of attracting a grouper. Surprisingly, a grouper did emerge from among the bull sharks and aggressively devoured the bait. After about 20 minutes of battling the mighty predator, the shark swam under Chansey's kayak, causing it to capsize while he remained calm. In the ensuing struggle, the grouper pulled the rod out of his hands, causing him to lose control of the situation. Now, the bull shark, seizing the opportunity, went for the bait, and the encounter intensified as the shark began to spin him around and drag him across the ocean. After realizing how exposed he was, Chansey decided to swim to a nearby support boat rather than risk dying in the water. Wearing a life jacket, he quickly made his way to safety while being mindful of the potential threats provided by the large number of sharks. Bull sharks, in particular, are known to be among the most aggressive shark species and would not turn down the opportunity to nibble on a person, even if they do not intend to finish the meal. Number 3. Following an intense Facebook Live in 2020, the Washington, D.C. police requested the public's help in identifying the perpetrators of a shocking carjacking. The incident involved a vocal critic of the Ethiopian government who was interrupted during his live stream by 2 armed men. Tension increased until one of the attackers had him get out of the car out of fear for his life. He grudgingly agreed, only to be caught on camera. When one of the perpetrators realized they were being filmed, they quickly took over the driver's seat and the actions were vividly shown on the screen. The police were able to find the car, but it was missing the necessary keys and tags. In an attempt to find a solution, they had the car towed back to the victim's neighborhood, and they increased the number of people searching for the people behind the daring carjacking. Number 2. The next clip is from a warehouse and features a lot of slapstick humor, but sadly for the movie's star, he wasn't going to win a mini award. The problem with all the CCTV cameras around is that they catch us doing things we really shouldn't be doing, like this guy who seems to have fallen asleep at work and is generally operating a forklift truck. This kind of behavior is discouraged because it's risky and, as this video demonstrates, extremely messy. Fortunately, no one was injured during the incident, but it did make for a very big mess. Number 1. It is generally not advised to put your hand in the toilet because, let's face it, it's kind of unhygienic and disgusting and can also leave you embarrassingly wedged in an awkward situation. This Texas woman ended up having to explain to her rescuers how her hand got stuck in the U-bend, which is never a good situation, let's be honest. I ask you, are you familiar with plungers? Anyway, she had managed to get her watch stuck in the pipe. There are so many issues with this that it's difficult to know where to start. She made numerous unsuccessful attempts to remove her arm from the toilet bowl, but it became stuck quickly. She had to call 911 for help, and once again the fire department demonstrated their ability to handle any situation, even awkward backed up plumbing. The situation proved to be more difficult to handle than it initially seemed. The fire crew had to take the entire toilet out of the bathroom and move it into the front yard while the woman was still attached by her arm. They then attempted to use the traditional method of sledgehammering the porcelain. Despite the situation seeming embarrassing, the woman took footage of her release and gave it to the local news channel, who gladly ran the story and gave her a brand new plunger for her efforts. And now, do you feel a little bit better about your awful day? Tell me about all of your problems in the space provided for comments below. If you'd like, think of it as a support group. After all, we're all here for you. Also be sure to check out our other videos that are showing up on the screen right now, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.